Faith Time is sponsored by VOA Southeast.
It's Faith Time, our weekly conversation on matters of faith. Joining us this morning is Charlotte Green with Bethlehem Church in Mobile. Chad Petrie spoke with her a few weeks ago. We wanted to talk about forgiveness and how it relates to racial reconciliation. First, let's define terms. What is forgiveness?
Forgiveness is releasing from the head and the heart matters of hurt.
So how does forgiveness work in the context of reconciliation?
And where reconciliation concerned, I think forgiveness opens the doors for reconciliation, because with forgiveness, I can forgive. It's a choice that I have to make. And so it's something that I can do outside of the person who injured me. But reconciliation requires that both person comes to the table. We think about what God did when he was reconciling the world to himself. He pardoned our sins to do so. And so I think forgiveness is necessary in the work of reconciliation, because it opens the door and allows for no hurt, no vengeance, no pain to be in the person's heart.
I think when we think of forgiveness, sometimes we might think of complete absolution for the other party that wronged us. But how does one forgive but also seek justice?
I don't think that we can ever forget, particularly depending on the severity of the injury. For example, if you had surgery and you have a scar there, and you know the pain that was caused in the process, the scar never goes away, but the hurt around it and the pain around it dissipates. And so when we talk about seeking forgiveness or operating in forgiveness when it comes to racial justice or injustice, period, it's not a matter of saying that because hurts like that, people tend to think that, oh, it's so difficult to get over. But as a believer, we are mandated to forgive. We are mandated to release that hurt. And in asking for justice or requiring justice, we also know that Micah, the 6th chapter and the 8th verse, requires us to do justice, love mercy, and walk humbly before our God. And that's not based on how severe the injury is. We are called to be forgiving no matter what the injury is, but I also can stand for the injustice as a believer. And if doing so the person ends up incarcerated or punishment comes out of that, I can still pray for the justice part of that, and the person gets mercy from the process. When we look at what Anthony Thompson did for the Charleston shooting when his wife was murdered, he did forgive Dylann Roof, but Dylann Roof still served the time for the crime. So the consequences for the sin and the consequences for the injustice may be some punishment involved.
How can sometimes withholding forgiveness become a toxic element in somebody's life?
That's a very good question, because I don't think people recognize that. John Hopkins did a study actually on one of the articles that they read. It said that forgiveness, that our health depends upon it, because unforgiveness, when we're holding forgiveness, when we're withholding forgiveness and we're holding on to unforgiveness, it causes stress in our body. And that stress can produce high blood pressure. It can produce all types of depression and anxiety, and it takes a toll on us. And so the article talks about how important it is to forgive. And that when we do forgive, we release toxins from our body. We release something when we do that. And when we think about it, Bishop Rashahana from Rwanda talks about how when his relatives were killed in the genocide for Rwanda, how he made the decision, he made the choice to forgive. And he says that when you're not forgiving, you create a prison around yourself, and you're creating a prison around the hurt, and you are responsible for nursing it, which keeps you at a path of stagnance. You know, you're not moving forward. While the rest of the world is moving forward, you're still nursing the pain and nursing the hurt from something that happened so long ago. So the freedom that comes along with forgiveness is what's necessary for even our bodies, not just for our mind, spirit, and emotion, but also for our bodies.